So good morning, Immerians. Good morning, world. Welcome to our Facebook live stream. And today we are joined by our five Immeri gentlemen, our powerful men of Immeri from different parts of West and Central Africa. So we have Immerians from Ghana and of course Immerians from Nigeria. We are watched across countries and across states in Ghana and Nigeria. So ladies and gentlemen, you are watching us on our Facebook live stream. And today, four gentlemen will share us their story with Immeri and how do they really see their future in the business. And they will also share us informations that can help us, especially those who are tuning in live right now on how they can really grow, in this platform and how they can influence, most of their business partners to move forward in this business. So joining us today, first we have Mr. Chidi from Ghana. Mr. Chidi, can you please tell us something about you?
Hello, my name is Chidi Choli. I'm based here in Ghana, and so far I am a manager rank achiever and also part of the marketing committee for Ghana. Yeah.
Good morning, world. Good morning, Africa. My name is Solomon James, and I am an elite executive with Immeri Global, and I'm the marketing committee chairman for Immeri Nigeria. Welcome to our world.
I said good morning to everybody. I'm Fred Mensah, an elite manager in Immeri Africa, and the marketing committee chairman for Immeri Ghana. And good morning, Africa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aki Barreto. I am an elite executive here in Nigeria with Immeri, and I'm a member of the marketing committee here in Nigeria.
Wow. Why did you choose Immeri Business? Can you tell us how did you start? And what was your goal, of joining Immeri Business?
Okay, I guess I'll take it first. So actually, for me, it was an amazing experience right from the onset. I had come from a background where I was having a lot of challenges with my previous business. And I needed a way out. I needed something that I could do that could make me bounce back, get some money and bounce back. And I was desperately looking for something. I actually tried to go into other businesses so that it will help me develop some or build some income for myself and for my family whilst, I work through other things. So it was around that time that I got in touch with one of our top leaders here in Immeri. His name is Reverend Daniel Sekwe. And it was amazing. It was like God just connected us, because how we met, I've known Reverend Sekwe for some years now, but for many years, about 5 years, we had never met. And strangely, we met somewhere in a hotel, and that was how we got reconnected. We exchanged numbers. And so when I got to that point where I was looking for an opportunity, I got in touch with him. I was like, listen, I know you, we've done business before, and I believe that by this time you're also doing something. I think what he also did that helped me get back to him was that at that time he was actually doing a certain business that went into products. So when I met him that day, he was happy to have met me. So he actually gave me a sample of his product. And that was it. So I used the product, I loved it. And I felt like, wow, this man kind of knows how to do business. And so whatever business he will be into is likely to be a good business. So if it's something I could do, that would be great. But again, because of my background, I didn't want to enter into something that didn't have a future. I didn't want to enter into something that will kind of collapse or will give me problems in the near future. So I gathered myself, did my own research about the product he gave me, looked into his company a bit, but I didn't get so much information. So what I decided to do was actually book a meeting with him to ask him all the tough questions. And that was how everything started. So I called him up, booked an appointment, and asked him that I wanted to ask him some questions about his business, and I wanted him to be very honest with me. And that was so how we started. We got to meet, and that day he did something that I find to be rare, okay, because most people would have acted differently. Because here I am, he knew my backstory, he knew my ability to achieve, and he knew at that point I was desperate and I was ready to get into another opportunity, and he was already in one, so he could have just roped me in. But when I asked him the questions, which was on my heart about the future of the company was currently where, the commitment of the leadership to their distributors and helping them grow, to the systems they have and everything, he was very honest with me, and he told me, listen, this is the situation. He will be happy to work with me, but the truth of it is that with the way I'm dedicated, I'm serious, he didn't think that company will make me happy. That's the honest thing he told me. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect that, because everybody would have just jumped at the opportunity. So this was what I got confused at that point. I was like, wow, so if they were not going to help me, what am I going to do? And why even doing it at that time? Why are you even still there? So then at that point, that was where he mentioned to me that there was this other company that was now about to start. They were not launched yet. They were not registered yet. Like they were registered, but they were not operational, or they were not operational yet. So if I was interested, I could go check them out. And then if I like it, fine. If I don't, that's fine, because they are not even starting. They're going to start sometime a year after or so. So I was like, really? I was like, okay. I have nothing to lose. I came out to look for an opportunity. So if there's something else I could look at other than the one, that I've just realized that it's not good for me, then of course let's go see it. So he actually offered. We drove together to the office, and just when I got in front of the Immeri Ghana office, something happened to me. It was like, this was it. There was something about what Immeri had done, and with my own personal experience, that made me know that Immeri was a serious company. So Immeri had a business, like an office edifice in one of the richest parts of Accra. And the way they had branded it, the way they had set it all up, and at the time I got there, actually still there was a bit of, touch up they were doing. They had staff already working that they had been paying. I interviewed some of them. They had been paying them for months. And yet they said they were not ready. I was like, who does this? All the companies I've known, all the businesses I've been in for the past like 8 years, it's been like, most of the companies, they are, if they even find the African market worthwhile to come in, they are normally interested in getting the distributors running on the ground with the products, promoting a lot of products to kind of validate that the market is good enough for them to come in. So normally we push the products even when the products are not registered. We don't have an office to operate in, so normally it's the leaders that have to put themselves together to create a kind of a makeshift office for all those things. But what I saw with Immeri, first impressions, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Then we got into the presentation. And again, I was blown away because I'm a big believer. I've had my hands bent a bit around all these other kind of business, which are like investment kind of business, where there's no product. So a very long time ago, I learned my lesson, and I decided I would never do any network marketing business that does not involve products, because I got to learn that most of those other ones that don't involve real physical products or service turns out to be scams. And so I'd made up my mind long time ago, so I knew. And again, so thinking about that, if it has to be products that will be good for the business, then it has to be marketable products, and it has to be unique enough. So that is what I saw when, during the presentation, they introduced Virgin to me. I was like, whoa, this is going to sell. For nothing at all. This Virgin is the thing. So that was I was getting all these, I was checking everything off. Like, no, the commitment to the African market is serious. product checked. The whole atmosphere was great. And to think that I was also getting an opportunity to step into leadership, because that was one of the problems I had with the previous company, which was that the leadership structure had some kind of issues there. And it didn't really gel with me personally. And that was one of the reasons why I left. So, I mean, to get the opportunity to step into leadership, to bring to bear some of the things that I believed in and I knew was going to work, actually, this was what drove me into the business. And I love the products, but the comp plan is what did the icing on the cake for me. I mean, the realization that, with the system, just from rank advancing to manager and getting past that, you could make more than 348,000 Ghana cedis, I was sold.
How did I even get into Immeri? Now, I've been a player in the industry for a little while, and I've learned a couple of things. I had just left a company that I was. One of the reason is most of these companies were not structured to really support Africans, and I joined within 2 weeks. We're doing large volumes, qualified for trips and other things. But I found out that there were certain changes that we needed to accommodate the way things work here in Africa, and they felt it must be the way it is in their own part of the world. So I saw the business that this was not going to last long if they continue this way. Then, I mean, I have a background in training and some other things. So I just, like Mr. Chidi, I had my own office. I was already running, doing trainings and other kind of things. Then one of those days, I had one of my friend who've been in another network marketing business before, Mr. Duncan Alange. He just sent me a message on, it was a flyer, sent me a flyer through WhatsApp and said, there is this meeting happening in Nigeria. If you can make it, attend. Now, he didn't call me, he didn't chat me, it was just that flyer and that was all. And I didn't respond either. But on the day of the meeting, I think somewhere at Towing Street in Lagos, I think that was much more like their first public meeting other than the ones they've held privately with few persons. So I got there, the place wasn't far from my office. I drove down with a friend and I sat down, I listened. It was looking too good to be true. I loved everything. But the challenge I had then was I had just lost my dad and I just buried him just a few weeks before that. So my head was a little bit heavy. And so I asked, I said, so are they in Nigeria now? They said, no, they are not yet in Nigeria, but they are coming into Nigeria. I said, you know what? I've seen this curve before. Whenever they come into Nigeria, let me know. So I didn't pay attention. I remember walking out and Mr. Daniel Sekwe had accosted me and we exchanged pleasantries. He was glad to see me. And so I said, whenever they come into Nigeria, let me know. So I left. Then just about, I think it should be about 2 weeks or so, or less than 2 weeks to, that should be about April, the first week of April or second week of April. I just got another message from Duncan again. We didn't talk about whether I went the first time or not. He just kept it and I didn't say anything. So just about 10 days or so to the pre-launch opening in Nigeria, he sent me the flyer again. Said, oh, they are now pre-launching in Nigeria. Again, I didn't respond. But now in between the first meeting, I have gone online to try to see what I can read up. I'm an online person, so I'd read up a few things, saw 1 or 2 videos from Daniel Sekwe that in fact, I got convinced, okay? So, but on that, I didn't tell him anything whether I was interested or not. So on the day of that April 15th, I just looked at my time. I was quite busy and I looked at my time. Oh, it was almost about 12 o'clock. I jumped into the car again. It wasn't too far from the office and I drove down there. And it was like a carnival. I mean, police band, the ambience, every place, it was just jam. So I said to myself, what's happening here? Is this the same thing? So I went up, I saw, and the saw me and he was like, oh, glad you are here. So I went up and Chidi Charlie was the one handling the presentation, and I tried to listen. So I mean, I think Janesepe knew me, and he said, Rev, I know you don't need this presentation. I am very certain you have gone through it. I said, yes, I have. He said, so it's just what you want to do. I said, hey, get me the form, let me sign up. that was it. So he brought the form and he was like, okay, let me sign you up. Let's get it. And I said, hey, I don't even, the person that sent me the information, I don't even have the person's detail because I've not communicated with Duncan. So it was at that point, I put a call, I sent him a WhatsApp message. He wasn't ready. And I called him instantly. I said, hey, get me your username now. Now, you know, for somebody who knows what he's doing, instantly I got the username, and I filled the form, and I needed to now wait for Chidi to be done with his meeting, and he came down. I gave him the form, and he said he was going to proceed with it, and that was it. So by the very next day, by the morning, I already gotten my first person. In fact, by the evening, I've gotten my second person. I was quite excited. Now, I saw things that they truly came to do business, and they understood Africa. I saw the efficacy of the product being practicalized and all of those. And I saw the energy and I saw their sincerity, that they were speaking from their heart and not just necessarily from the point of trying to get into the African market. So for me, Immeri is a defining platform that if you take your time to go through it, you will understand why it's in a class of its own. And I'm glad to be in Immeri.
Listening to these two great men, I think I should have just combined this and just carved it as my own, but that's not proper. Yeah, this is interesting. How I came into Immeri and why I chose Immeri. My background has purely been banking. Then I moved into the network marketing industry around 2013 through a very great friend who is currently a brother, Adriano Apo, who introduced me to the network marketing industry. And we started a very strong one, which was doing very well. But as Chidi said, leadership issues and other things, I decided to quit. And people were surprised because looking at my position, they knew I would be making residual income any day, anytime. But I decided to quit. And I left. So I decided to run back again and run my banking. But now I was no more interested in being an employee because of what I've seen in network marketing. I decided to be on my own as an entrepreneur. So quickly I started running banking training and consultancy for some savings and loans. Then one afternoon, I remember I was at a hotel with my wife and a very great friend of mine who was also a seasoned banker. And we had already been approached by another network marketing company for us to pioneer them. So we're just sitting there having lunch and deciding on what to do. And I saw Chidi coming towards me. This is interesting. Chidi was coming to me, and honestly speaking, I had never had a chat with Chidi, though I know him from far, and he also knows me from far. But we've never talked or anything. But when he was coming, he got to a point, and I realized that he was hesitating to come. So I raised my head and I said, Chidi, come. Do you have anything for us to talk? He said, yes. I said, Chidi, don't worry. If it is business, I'm open. And as long as it is a product-based business, I'm very good in it. Then I realized that his nerves went down. Then he said, oh, there's this company. He knows how I do my things. So he was very skeptical how to approach it because I can easily just take a decision today and tell you no, and I'll do it again. So he wanted to be very sure. And when he mentioned it, I think it was a Monday morning around 11 a.m. So when he mentioned it, I said, okay, I've heard you. I'll get back to you. But currently I'm in a meeting because my focus was on the business I was going to pioneer, and at the same time how I was going to run it. And when we finished everything and we're going home, then my wife said, "Have you called Chidi back?" I said, No. These people, they are always moving, bringing business and other things. Because honestly speaking, I knew Chidi very well from afar, as I mentioned. So when he talked about, I said, Chidi, then the night he called me and said, "Sir, I have booked a meeting with you and the corporate team Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. And these are people who are leaving, I think, by by Saturday or Sunday morning. So make sure that you meet them." I said, "Chidi, why are you pushing me that fast?" Because I was some way. Then I said, "Okay, send me their link," because I didn't even ask of the company's name. So I asked him to send me their link. I looked at the link, read about the products, but interesting enough, there was nothing like their comp plan on their website. So I became curious, and I said, "Okay." But being a father and at the same time a family member, and in my house, I'm the only man within the midst of ladies. So I have a very passionate responsibility towards their health because they are women and female. I don't play with their health. So when I read about their female product, I was a bit curious and wanted to know more. So when we went, I called Chidi and I said, "Chidi, I'm ready to meet them." So we moved on and we entered the Immeri office. Even he gave me 11. I was there earlier than Chidi, as usual. I got there, and about 10, 15 minutes he came. Then I was ushered up, and interestingly enough, I met my host for this morning, Aris, who took me through the product presentation. And when he was just presenting the product, I was just looking at him because my interest was, how is this company going to structure itself for the African market? Because every environment, and from my experience, you can't bring company's culture and just come and situate it in another culture. You need to understand the culture very well. And that is what I had issues with my previous company, and I quit. Because Africa is Africa, Asia is Asia, and Europe is Europe, and America is different. So when he presented everything, the product, immediately he was done. Then I saw this nice lady again coming in her, I remember very well, in her black jeans. And she also entered and said, "Mr. Fred, I'm going to take you through the product, the business presentation." I said, "Who is this woman?" She said, "My name is Queen." And I said, Queen. And she made the thing so lively. And when we finished, I started asking a series of questions. And they answered all those questions to my best satisfaction. And when we finished again, I asked them, "So can you please provide your bank account details for us to commit?" And because I wanted to just sign up and leave. And they said, "No, we are not ready." I said, "What do you mean?" Companies come to Africa and sometimes they will ask you to just get about 200 distributors or 300 distributors to even come. Or get some members, for some leaders to even start coming before they start going and plead with corporate to come. But this is a company which has come in, and as Chidi mentioned, I talked to some of the staff, and they had already been in the system for over 4 months, being trained, taking their salary, coming to work, no revenue for the company, and they were there. And you have gotten us who are ready to also build a business, and the company said that they are not ready. I said, "Wow." Then we asked them, "Okay, if you are not ready, do you have a bank account details?" I remember very well. And they said they have. I said, "Okay." And I can confidently tell you, from the day I entered the Immeri office, I never stopped entering the office, and I continue going to the office every day. I never stopped entering the office. And sometimes I go there in the morning and I leave there in the evening. Go there in the morning, leave there in the evening, because I was also observing how things are being done and how they run their whole system. But God being so good, I understood the business and I realized that no, not just the compensation plan, not just because of the product, but my interest was, how is this business going to benefit my fellow Africans? How are they going to make it? How unique is this business from other businesses that they have seen? So that is where I was looking at. And again, my other worry is how is it convenient and so easier for them to also build and build well? Because from my experience in network marketing, even if you bring one person in the business, you have worked. And if out of that one person, that person is even bringing thousands of generations, you must continue to make money. And I saw it exactly in Immeri. So I said, no, this is built for us, and this is the way we need to go. And I told Quinn, I'm ready to sign up. He said, Fred, Mr. So Quinn started calling Mr. Fred, take easy, take easy, take easy. Because I was so passionate, and my dream was not even to bring in network marketers again, but to make sure that those who have not even tasted the industry will start having a good experience of this industry, and let us empower them. And I joined the business, and I saw the empowerment, the corporate leadership, the structure, and the team building. It was so unique. And this is how I joined Immeri, and still I see Immeri as my home and a family. And privileged to even have family members across the group. GSM in Nigeria that I didn't know, Immeri has brought me to him.
Thank
and
you.
Barreto, I've met him. So thank you very much for bringing me to Immeri.
Good afternoon, sir. You know, I've been listening to these wonderful stories, and it's like, you know, I feel like just giving my own time to, you know, the three of them to just continue again. You know, the stories are so powerful that I just couldn't stop listening. It's like it should be an hour for each one of them to just say this story. And it's actually so warming to know this, because I've come to notice that everybody has got a wonderful story, right? Their journey there into Immeri. I think it's same for me too. The journey for me actually started a little over 2 years ago. It was just a launch invitation by, you know, Miss Tinkomoda, who is, you know, a very dear friend. And we've been together in my very first experience in this industry. And she sat me down as we had coffee and told me that, you know, something big was coming, and that if she, you know, doesn't have a whole, you know, info about it, but she said, she just kept using the word, it's going to be big. And, you know, I know her so well. And for me, that was enough. There was nothing else anybody really needed to say. And I told her on that day, I said, whenever I am ready. It was some few days after I had made a decision not to really go further in the industry. I had an experience in my first company, which was a product-based company. It was a wonderful one, but it came to an end for an unforeseen circumstance, and I think it was not properly planned by the company, because of their interest for Africa wasn't at the top. They were doing well in the other parts of the world. My second experience, which was also still from the same source that took me to the first, right, was a service-based company. Everything was virtually done. I had just arrived from the company's convention in Las Vegas, where I was able to see, you know, to touch things physically from the company. And as I returned, you know, though I had already gone, you know, really far in building a team here in Nigeria, and I was already looking forward to the future. But as I arrived from the convention, you know, somebody told me that, you know, I didn't have a future there, and it was best that I, you know, pause or stop. Right? So I was in the middle of that discussion when I got that call that I said. So I was really looking forward to her getting back to me, as she was going to make a trip out of the country, where she was going to be meeting with the leadership of the company, and then was going to get back to me. So she didn't get back to me until 5 months after. All right. So 5 months after, I got a call to attend a meeting. It happened exactly 2 weeks after someone else who I respect so much had just also called me. Right. So for 5 months, I was, not involved in anything. So I had just said yes to another opportunity to another dear friend who had now become, a mentor in the industry for me. And then, I remember that I had a discussion with Ms. Komeda, but I wasn't really waiting for anything. 5 months was a long time. I had just said yes to this opportunity, again, which was not product-based and not service-based, but was actually another virtual opportunity. I said yes because of my respect for the individual who contacted me, who was my upline in my very first company also. Like I said, he was more of a mentor. But I did went for the meeting that Mr. Moda called me for. And we sat down. There were about 19 of us in that meeting. They were top leaders. Some of them I had known them from afar, from different companies, across Nigeria. And as we sat down, Mr. Moda took us through the company's plans, was more into the company's core values and the company's mission. The comp plan wasn't really ready yet, so they could not put figures to the comp plan, but they could give us a picture of where it was going to, but no figures to it. The products, I was seeing them for the first time. We had a feel of them. There was not too much to really understand from me at that time. But like I said, one thing was certain. I was seeing the leadership in the company. And a few minutes after Mr. Moda, completed the overview of the company, then, boom, a gentleman walked in who was coming in straight, from outside the country to speak to us. He was the president of the company, Africa and Middle East, Mr. Yakwaye. And then, he was this unassuming, gentleman. We knew somebody was coming, but he just sneaked in and was so casually, dressed, casually speaking. And, but there was this conviction in his voice, that, nothing was going to stop this mission. This mission was going to get through. The company was still in the process of getting registration done in Nigeria. A lot of challenges were happening, and he was telling us all this. But he was so convinced that this challenge, that the company, that they were going to, that nothing was going to stop them. He was telling me things, he was saying things like, I could hear it very clearly, that, that there were calculated moves to stop this vision, and that he was so optimistic that the vision was going. So it was more of the talks. It was not the compensation plan. It was not the products. But I was just seeing people who were coming out and being so real. So I left that meeting with a conviction. I attended that meeting with my wife and two great people who have been business partners with me and leaders, who are now partners with me here too. And then, I left that meeting and they all just wanted to hear from me because they were all quiet there. And they said, what do I think? I said, that's our future. And that was it. I left that meeting knowing that I had just said yes to someone else 2 weeks before on a journey. I was not going to say no to the person. I was not going to stop that journey. But I had it at the back of my mind that was where I was going to end up here at Immeri. On that day, there was nothing that was going to change it. There were some of the leaders there too who wanted to get my comments. They met me at the car park and were asking me questions. Like I said, these were people, some of them I know them from afar. They have been in the industry, years before I had vast experience. I guess that was the reason for that meeting. But as I left, I went on to be doing what I was doing, which was, building a team for a company which was also new and was going to launch virtually. And I kept on waiting for Ms. Komoda to call me back because, like I said, it was going to be a call back again from that meeting. The call back from that meeting, which was in March of 2018, did not happen until October. All right, so when I got the call back, in August, beg your pardon. So when I got the call in August, I was on vacation in the UK, and Ms. Kumeda called me and said, hey, we'll be trying to start up in Nigeria, and it's taking some time. Hey, let's go to Ghana. And, you know, and I refused. I said, hey, I'm not going to Ghana. And I said, you know, I've been working on a project now since March, and this is August. And the company has been trying to launch and did not been able to. And I said, you know, because of what I was going through, the emotions, you know, with the people that I had gotten involved, which were already in hundreds of numbers, I said I was not going to go into any company that was not readily launched in Nigeria. And he said, hey, you know what, Mr. Barreto, I understand. It's okay. And then she left for Ghana. And from that day, she shared with me every step, all right? Like she was trying to, you know, at one point, it's like, is she trying to torment me for not going to Ghana or what? Every move, you know, as the office started, the renovations, I kept on getting, you know, not only comments, but pictures. And it went on like that until the 2019. Now, on this fateful day of, okay, I got to know that the company was starting in April also in Nigeria, as she sent me messages on all that too. But you know, I was so used to hearing from her all the time, and that was just like an update as usual, right? I think it needed more. There was something. They needed more to get my attention, and that was what happened. I was so soaked in my commitment into the project that still was not yet to kick off, and these are taking again over a year. All right, and then on one fateful day, one person walked into my office who happened to be one of those that was with me at the initial meeting that we had a year plus before, and she said, you know, to me that, you know, she has gone ahead because, you know, she just couldn't wait for me. I mean, this waiting game was not it for me. I mean, you said that was where our future was. I mean, what's the delay? And I said, vision is for an appointed time. Like I said to her, I said, everything is fine. Don't worry. I mean it when I said that was the future, and that was where I was going to end. And I had no doubt about that. On the same day, as she was stepping out of the office, I had people waiting in my reception. And guess who they were? It was the entire corporate of Immeri. And one of the leaders of the company today, who happened to be a member of the marketing committee also. And as I, you know, invite them in, you know, she was trying to share a lot about the company with me, which I knew a lot about. And I just saw Ms. Kumada, I just looked at me and smiling. I'm just waiting for my answer. And I said to her again, I said, you know, when I say yes, I say yes. I said, that's my future, and there's nowhere I was going to. And he said, you're taking too long, too much of time. What are you waiting for? I said, don't worry, I'm just right behind you. And we left, and that was the end of that meeting. And then on the same day, there was somebody else to see me. First time I was meeting him, I've known him from afar too. He was Mr. John Mukoro on the same day. And he sat down with me, and we sat down for maybe about an hour, all right, of my time. And we said a lot. And, you know, all I could just hear from you is that, you know, we need you, we need you, we need you. It's like, you know, we're not going to move if you don't move. We need you. And I did tell him there and then on that day, because, you know, we had a heart-to-heart talk. He did most of the listening though, but he said something, and I would never forget. He said, you know, it wasn't really about me joining the team. It was like me joining the company. And that day I went to bed just looking at it as a day that was designed for me to make a move on a decision. And it was obvious that the time was right and right. And I gave a call to my friend, a mentor who I had given a whole year and a half of my time. hoping that the company had introduced me to would launch. He had always known that my decision was, it was a two years old pregnancy that I needed to give back to it.
Wow.
The hospital there was already, we all knew who the hospital was going to be. We just needed to have the right doctor. There were too many professional doctors. And
Yeah.
as far as all of them were part of the hospital, it was just okay. But like I said, it's been, if the decision had been made a long time ago, it just had to wait for the right time. And that's my story.
Specific actions you've done in order for you to develop and at the same time transform yourself to become independent leaders in the business. So let's start off with Mr. Solomon, our MC chairman from Nigeria.
Okay, let me get. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. Quite interesting story. If you're listening to everyone share their story, you see the diversity of how we came in. For somebody, the person has gotten the information months back and is being followed up and being given updates per second. Why for some of us, the person that sent it to us, we didn't even communicate with the person until we were ready to sign up and even asking the person to send us. So listening to this, it means there is no one way that fits all. But trust me, when people see what they want, they will go for it, they will connect with it. I strongly believe you cannot grow beyond the level of your knowledge. Your knowledge is a cap to how far you can go. Now, one of the things I told myself was sometimes doing other businesses and other companies we've been with, I asked myself, what were the feedbacks? What went wrong? So I said to myself, if I had an opportunity to restart again, will I start the same way? So which is why how I'm building my Immeri business a little bit different from the past. Because if you don't take the feedbacks of your past successes and failures, you might not do well. Secondly is the fact that you do not allow the successes of your past to still stay before you, because it might limit you. So it's like, I am a learner. I'm actually the chief learner. I learn a lot. So it's like going back to the basics, because if you go to any sport, they will still take you back through the basics. So what are the basics? What are the things I needed to do? I'm not operating as one who has been at the top, but one who wants to begin at the bottom and grow. And because when you follow that pattern, you'll be able to model it and guide people. Now, I remember quickly when I was leaving one of my organization to another, after back and forth, I remember one of the country managers saying to me, he said, why don't you start at the top? Why don't you go negotiate so that you start at the top of the ladder? I said, well, I've seen that in the industry where people are paid and they just come in at the top. I said, if I start at the top, can I duplicate that in my team? Will every member of my team also start at the top? If they cannot start at the top, then it means it's not a level playing field. Now, it means if I can start at the bottom and grow, I will be able to also show them what I did and how I did. And that's been my own personal philosophy. I'm not saying that is wrong. For those who are doing it, they are good. Now, in growing a team, every team has their own idiosyncrasies. They have their own language. It's like you are creating a tribe. You are not just building a team. For me, it's a tribe. There's a tribe that when you see the lions, the pack of lions, you know this is a tribe. When you see the sheep, you know this is a tribe. So we might be in the same company, but our team culture differs. And our team culture will differ based on what we are exposing ourselves to. So for me, reading personal development is critical. Before we came on this call, I said I slept about 4 a.m. this morning. I mean, we're in a lockdown, but practically every day I'm still sleeping 3, 4. And yet I still have the day to work. It looks as if the 24 hours is no longer even enough. Why somebody else is feeling, no, I will start work when the lockdown is over. We don't even have enough time. So for us, it is modeling that, reading, getting the information across to your team members, plugging them into events that are happening, webinars, thankfully, that are happening, different trainings are happening along the line. Because trust me, as a leader, if you become weary, you will pass that energy to your people. Now, when you go silent, it seems you don't have anything to offer. So you must constantly be on your toe to make sure you are getting fresh knowledge, fresh information, or sometimes even what people think they know, you refresh it. Sometimes I pick a book I've read, and you read the book again, it's like you are reading the book for the first time. You are seeing things you didn't see. So it means knowledge never ceases. So that's one critical thing that I encourage my team and that I'm doing, and we're also trying to do, because you must get fresh content for yourself. You must get fresh content for your team. Much more so before I'll be done. Again, the time we are in right now is a different time. Before now, yes, I mean, I've been doing webinars since 2013, since 2012, 2013. I already have a webinar platform I've been using since 2013. I paid for it. So it's not something I've been doing now. But you see, many people right now are still not grown into that. So you've got to take people, now people are beginning to make that adjustment. We cannot be on a webinar call when is the best time. But as a leader, if you think it's the best thing for them, just begin, whether it's with one or two. It will begin to trickle in as people begin to see the results. Because after every webinar or meeting, somebody comes to the group and says, oh, that was an awesome meeting. So somebody who wasn't there is feeling, I missed something. Now, imagine other teams are having constant meeting, having their family meeting, which is the tribe meeting. And for your own team, you are not doing that. I think you are leaving them dry. So it's but one of the best way you can do that is taking responsibility first for you to grow as a person, because if you are not growing, you cannot duplicate that with your team. So for me, what we do in our team is simply constant learning and constant growing, and we keep getting the feedback to make sure we are all on course towards our dream.
Aris, so for me, I think part of that, I've shared it in my story. I've always looked for that opportunity to step up as a leader, to correct some of the things that personally I went through in my previous experience in other companies. And I didn't want that to happen to, this new crop of network marketers and leaders that were going to come up. And I also saw the opportunity because there had been a trend generally across board concerning network marketing and how it's done, which it became obvious to me at some point that actually that was wrong. Because, for example, there are a number of things that I realized that made me it felt like the platform, although it was supposed to be a fair platform, it didn't seem to be fair to certain people. For example, the old way of doing network marketing is that the only way you become successful is that when you come in early. All right? So we have all these kind of people who feel that they are big enough to be leaders, and because of that, they just want to be the ones to start a new company. And if they don't get to start, it's like their motivation is not in, they are not committed and all that. That was one of the things that personally I wanted to change. All right. And the second thing is that if you are not making money, or you are not, having success in quotes, okay, then you are not in the game. It's like you are. It's almost as if you are not regarded. That again was something I wanted to change, because in our business, as we understand the dynamics, it's a numbers game. If we actually commit to it and we understand it, we understand that the majority of people in our organizations may not be able to all of a sudden make that overnight success. Are we together? Yeah. They might not be able to make that overnight success, but if you give them the right coaching and leadership, some of the people may be lions, or they may be eagles, but maybe they are just babies. So unless you create a platform that feeds them, that gets them into a position, like Solomon was rightly saying, that gets them into a position where they begin to realize who they actually, the potentials in them. That they make them realize that they are not, because really, I have been there. I have been in a place where just because maybe the results were not coming as fast, people looked at me and said, this guy is like it's a loser, or this guy is not serious. But it wasn't so. It was because I didn't really get the dynamics. I was struggling. Nobody could teach me. Some people were succeeding. They didn't know why they were succeeding, so they couldn't really teach you. They were just going on to succeed, and they're succeeding, but they don't know what makes them successful. So when even you approach them, what they tell you, you can't put it into practice, because when you put it into practice, you have more failures, and it makes like, why it's not working for you, you know? So for me, the goal was to crack that nut. And I saw the opportunity with Immeri, because when I joined Immeri, one of the things that quickly I started doing was to create tools to help everybody. That was very, very important, because if people have access to tools, then duplication becomes easy. To date, I have the joy of sometimes getting calls from people I've never known, I've never seen before. But when they get in touch with me, the first thing they tell me, sometimes they meet me in the office, or sometimes it's maybe from, recently I had one from all the way from Saudi Arabia. And the person was telling me that he has been using my videos to sell the business. And I was like, wow, that is amazing, right? So that's one of the things that personally I sought to do, and I'm doing it. I keep doing it. Now the second thing is to be able to stay ahead, all right? Because we must realize, one of the trainings, I give credit to my brother for this, because one of the very first trainings I got in network marketing was actually from my brother, and he taught me about how the times are changing. You know, there's been a change in the way money is made and how wealth is created. So, I mean, all that information is there, right? And now we are in the information age, transitioning into another age, which they call it the IA age or whatever it is, right? But the ability to stay updated and in the game is what's going to transform you and transform your team. So when you are a leader and you don't know how to stay ahead, you could be very good. You could be, very successful in an older system, like we saw with some of the technological advances that happened, and some of the companies were left behind, like Nokia. Nokia was a very big brand. All of a sudden, boom, and now companies like Huawei and other Infinix and things like that are taking over the market, right? Because they are ahead, they are updated. So for me personally, as my contribution, and as one of the things that I try to do, is to get the opportunity to develop myself so that I can provide that kind of knowledge and experience to people, especially using myself in quotes as a guinea pig. Okay, so I normally get myself in a situation where I put myself in a place where I can learn as much as I can, go through all the process of failure, and crack the code. Then when I do that, I bring it back to everybody, so that you don't have it casts you off the time of going to do try and error. And really that's what my focus has been, and I believe that it's working already. And I'm very grateful for other leaders in the organization, because Immeri is one of the places that I have the luxury to be able to do what I'm doing, because I have great leaders who are holding the fort to allow me to do the testing thing. Because sometimes if you need to do some of these things and have it successfully, you really need a backup. You need people who can stand in the gap and do the things that otherwise, if you were left to you alone, it would fail. So I'm grateful for the leadership, the quality of leadership we have in Immeri. It's just amazing. All kinds of top thinking, passionate, committed, dedicated leaders who are always bringing up stuff that will help everybody else. And so for me, this is the best environment to grow. This is the best environment to develop. And I think with that, everybody can just contribute a little bit to support everybody else. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Aris. And I'm still learning, and this has been a very great learning platform as well. But when it comes to this business and what we are doing for our teams, currently we have even been informed or learned that it's not more a team, it's a tribe. So what we are doing for our tribes, which I really love the word. Yes, thank you very much, and I'll pay patents. What we are doing for our team is very, very huge. And I can confidently tell you that I've learned a lot, especially this lockdown. And I can confidently also say that I have never been close to anybody like the way I'm now closer with Barreto. Because this lockdown, we have been very close, sharing ideas, sharing information, chatting each other, learning a lot from each other, and empowering our people. Because Immeri has created a platform in such a way that if you are able to support the team for them to grow, because yesterday I was telling some friends in another group that it would be my interest for all of them to even overtake me. Because when I see all of them going higher than me, then it means that I have been a great leader. But I always don't like it to be me. But a great leader is the one who is always celebrating the success of his or her team members. And you can only be successful when, one, you learn new things, two, you avoid complaints. And these are some of the trainings that we keep training them on. And as Chidi said, technology is taking over, and you can only be successful in this business. I always tell my tribe that you can only be successful only when you are ready to empty your car. Yesterday, let me just give you a scenario. Yesterday, I was on a training platform with Comfort Success, training her team line members, and I entered the platform quietly. But before I realized, they have mentioned my name on the platform. But at the end of the day, I learned something new, and I added on. In the evening, I came back to my platform, and I also started replicating or duplicating the same information to them. And this morning, I saw some messages that others were giving me good feedback, that they have tried it and it is working. So learning is very key as a leader, but you, the leader, reading and doing everything. And I remember one of my team members asked me, Mr. Mesa, so what do you do that you are always happy, you are always confident, and you're always moving up? I told him I read on the average minimum 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. And I make sure that whatever I read, I apply it during the day. I will just try and implement some of them. It's not just reading and leaving it. So if I give them books, you must learn. Currently, I've created other tribes or WhatsApp groups where we even just read a book a day and a book a week. And after the week, all of us come back again to discuss what we have learned and what we've read about the book, what we have learned, and how we can implement it to build our personal development. And it's becoming so interesting day in and day out. Apart from that, technology is advancing. I remember during our days when we were young and you enter even the banking system. And let me just give this high five to Immeri. You have been very, very proactive in terms of technology and how far you are even thinking about the future. Because the days where people were looking at old things, other things, and technology is taking them off, you have not been like the Nokias, as Chidi mentioned. But at least the company is also growing. And if you are in such an environment, you must also grow so that you either overtake the company or the company carries you along. But don't be left behind. And I always tell everybody. Besides that, people also need to be empowered. And the great news that we have is that in Immeri, we have a lot of people who are not in the industry for years or for months. So this is the time we need to give them the fresh information and empower them. And the comp plan allows empowerment. And that makes me so happy because it is not just push volumes, but let them understand because the business runs with people. And when the people are understanding the business, they are happy and they are empowered and they love the business. So I run a lot of trainings and other things for my team. And apart from that, for corporate in global, because day in and day out, we are sharing ideas and we are replicating it from each other. Because as I speak now, even if this evening or tomorrow evening, I have a meeting, a training from JSM, who is going to train me on how to master on the internet as well. Because we connect to each other. So in Immeri, almost we can confidently say that The leader is the one who is ready to empty his cup and learn new things. And that has been the culture, and that is what we are all running around. And you will never see a meeting being run and all the leaders having time would say, no, this one is for a young boy presenting or for no. You see every leader in it, and we come in and we add value. And by adding value, we learn from each other every day. So personal development, I always say that it's a continuous process, and don't think that you have reached there or not. We are not. We have not reached anywhere. But as leaders, we must ensure that our tribe members become more powerful than us. Our tribe members become so confident than us. Our tribe members will have that knowledge. I always say that the difference between a leader and the team is knowledge. And if they have the knowledge, they will also be able to do it, and therefore multiplication also will continue. And when we have more people understanding our industry, understanding the business, and building it and empower other people, then we realize that our main goal of changing the world and changing the globe becomes more successful. So this is what I'll end with. Thank you.
All right. Now I've learned a new word. I'm going to go into the dictionary to see it properly. Tribe. I'm going to ask if I can belong to your tribe. I think I'm the only one that is not a member of that tribe. All right, but seriously, I must take a tone down from Mr. Frank. First of all, Mr. Frank, you sent me something. You gave an assignment that I did not find out how to do it until 7 a.m. this morning. So I did not go to bed until around 8 a.m. That's why I was late on the platform, but I've gotten it done. It's funny, but it's the truth. Yes, it's true. It's been a learning period. For me, when I got into Immeri, my actions were built immediately around my vision, which was Immeri as my future. It was not my team, because I didn't have a team yet. It was all the company. For me, it was the company. So when immediately I got in, I was quick to see everything that was working and everything that was not. I had, an opportunity to speak to any member of the staff and share what I feel. And then it has grown into people asking even before I say it, what do you think? Should it be like this? Should it not be like this? And I'm always quick to say what I feel because, like I said, it is a vision. The actions I took too were like that in building a team. I have been privileged to build teams of thousands, not once in my short lifespan here in the industry. So I didn't see that it was going to be a deal. So I had a goal of doing that. But this was what I did. I quickly submitted myself into the existing team that I met, right? Irrespective of whatever I felt was right or wrong, I believe that my presence in there will create the change that was required. And so I did that. So from the first person that I prospected and signed up, which happened to be my wife, and the other people, I just let everybody submit into that team. So what I did differently, all right, in developing into who I am today in Immeri, was that I had always looked at developing leaders, all right? So everybody that comes into the team that I come across in my journey, I always wanted to bring out the leadership in them and then help them to cultivate it and develop it. But I did something different. What I did this time around was just to live the life and show and expect that who wants it, all right, and who has it will recognize it and want more. So I then started to identify such people, and then that's the only group that I have. I only have a group of maybe 20-something people or thereabouts in my entire team who I actually consider as leaders. So I only identify them and then I bring them in as leaders, all right, because I found out that the mission was bigger and it was larger than than myself. So it was everybody's responsibility to create that leadership. So I have been able to, show that and develop that for myself. I have attended every training possible. I used to be in the front seat of presentations, listening, taking notes, and then I became someone who was presenting also. And then I led the people who had shown that in my team to do the same. So today I have quite a number of them doing, as good trainers, good speakers, becoming trainers, and now they're doing private meetings themselves, so multiple meetings even in a day, independently. So that's the few things that I've done as an action that I've taken differently. Why did I do that? You see, something has always pushed me, and I said that was the only thing I took away from my first meeting in Immeri. It's all lies in the company's mission and the core values. And I always take people back there. When I see people not okay about anything, upset about something, confused about anything in Immeri, I just take them there. And the moment I take them there, they come back and they get the answer. So I think it lies there. Bringing happiness to to myself and my family, it's a huge responsibility. And I think everybody has it. I don't think you need to go look far for anybody who will want to do that. All right. And I've noticed that a lot of family people in Immeri, people who are running the business like that. For me, Immeri is a family business. Right? I have children who knows exactly what's happening on the boards. And they talk about it. They know the names of everybody in the business. They can talk about people. They read everything. They see everything. All right. So it's a family business. So if it's my future, it's important. So it's not about me. It's the entire company now. It's Immeri, right? Now the next thing is the core values. The three core values are very powerful. Anytime I go back to them, they answer every question. So for me, the whole company is my team. All right. That's how I see it. All right. Everybody does not see it like that because that's not the trend in network marketing. I think it's not even usual. I think even my people in my team have a problem with that also. Why? Because it's natural to look at yourself as being part of something and needing to get the best out of it more than every other person. And I'm so quick to share with them as if they're the same with everybody. And I will see some of them feel bad about it, and then we will come back again and talk about it, and then they will understand. And for me, I think that is leadership. I came into Immeri to serve. That's it. I have never mentioned it, but that's just what it is. I'm quick to take any responsibility. I rarely say no to any. It's become so easy to throw it at me because of that. Because I will always say yes. I would not say no to anything because I see the company even before I see myself. So I guess that's what have turned me to who I am. Maybe that would lead me to where I'm going to. Who knows? I think time will tell.
Pareto, if you are to caption, okay, your Immeri business story as of this moment, what is the best caption do you think that can describe, okay, yourself, okay, your team, your Immeri life as a whole? So please share us your thoughts.
For me, I will always still go back to what the company was founded on, and every day I see that word in the presentation. I see that word on the walls of the growth training center, the growth center, and then I come back to my vision, and it has never changed. Immeri is the source of my future. I'm living in Immeri. My life in Immeri is just living in my future. So everything I do is to create my future. The company is built to last. I'm not talking about me. I'm probably talking about generations even after me. I see my children in Immeri. I see my grandchildren in Immeri. I don't know if that's powerful enough. I don't know if I am dreaming too much, but that's what I see. And for me, that's the caption. Immeri is the source of my future.
It's been great and having a great tribe in the business. And if you are part of lions, definitely you must also be a great lion. And we always say that the leadership of the tribe determines how strong the tribe is. And I can confidently say, and I always say, and Chidi knows, is that as a tribe, you must always be on fire. And being on fire means that it's not fire burning you, but you should always feel uncomfortable when others are not happy. So the tribe is to kill the me aspect and rather solve others' responsibility. Make sure others are happy, get them on their toes, and work with them. You as a leader, our mantra that we always do is that we are always not the egg in the business, because for the egg, you just a leader, you just lay the egg and go. And the egg can be used in preparing the omelette. But we don't go that way. We go in the pork style, where you can, before you can get the pork, then it means that the pig must be killed. So you must always be on the ground to work with them. And as you are working with them, they learn, and duplication is always what? Done. It's not always giving instruction, but we always talk about the proactiveness and at the same time working with the team together. So this is what we do as a tribe and as a family. In fact, JSM, I love this statement, and I'm going to change my team's name to Tribe.
So for me, it's been amazing. And what I see about Immeri happening is that it's thriving. You know, there's a difference between surviving and thriving. And that is because I see a company and an opportunity that can allow us to scale a lot of challenges now and in the future. Already we've passed one, and Nigeria is coming through it, and I can see the momentum. Whilst other companies are collapsing, we are celebrating rank achievements and all that. That is the kind of company that we are with. So a thriving company that is going to crush every obstacle, make a way where there seems to be no way, and basically get more people to see success. And that is what I'm so happy to be a part of, being part of that solution that helps people, even if they are difficult times, to still have success. So that for me is my caption. Immeri is a thriving business.
The tribe of Judah. Now, but I will say the Immeri train is an exciting train, and what Immeri is trying to do is trying to correct the ills of the past. Immeri is, you know, it's like every one of us can attest to. When people are being laden with so much pressure when it comes to compulsory authorship, compulsory, that's a weight. Immeri says, take this off, create it in a different way. You must buy this, you must meet this, your leg will flush. Immeri says, no, you can do it this way. So Immeri is an innovative platform that is creating a sustainability model for the future. Now, Mr. Yap said something in Ghana during the anniversary, and that caught my attention when he was talking about the apocalypse of retail. I mean, that was he made mention of that at the Ghana meeting. Now, when he was talking about, look, the retail is collapsing, things will go online. The pandemic thing was not at a peak where anybody would have, if that had happened, we wouldn't have been in Ghana. Now, but you see, then he made a statement. He said, this is 2020. But he said, I am already in 2030. I mean, when he made that statement, I saw a vision that is ahead. And for that reason, for me and my team, Immeri is simply a legacy platform. that is created to sustain its way and help people create a new beginning and a better ending. That's my caption.
What dreams do you look forward to achieve 3 years from now in this business for yourself and your family and your business partners? So let's start with our MC chairman from Ghana, Mr. Fred.
Sorry, I thought it would start the other way around, so I was just.
That's why I asked you to be prepared, okay? Because there will
Yeah, don't worry. Because it's always good to be prepared than to get ready. Because when you are prepared, anytime you are called, you are ready to go. But you don't wait for it to get ready before you. They tell you it's happening and say, no, I'm not ready. No, you must always be prepared. So you'll be good to go. And that's one of the properties of Immeri tribe. Yeah. So I'm game. But for myself, it's very huge and very, very great because one, I have a dream of being significant to society that I run with and I live in, because my focus is to make sure that at least, as I told you from the initial stages, I have a family of more women than a man. And my more focus currently within the next 3 years, which will make me more happy, is to get more women in the industry succeeding. So as at now, I even have a platform where I train only women in the industry, and I want to see great leaders coming out of it, and it's one of my greatest success because I'll be more happy to see them succeeding. And for family, which is very unique to us, because no matter what you do and what you run, the family is the key thing that you run with. And I always take this advice from great leaders who have succeeded in this business or in this industry. Always tell you that never forget about the family. Immeri is a family, and no wonder it also mentioned that bringing success to ourselves first and then our family. So the family, we are Africans, and it goes beyond just you, your wife, and children. You have the extended family, and you have the community in which you live. And I've always been telling the young ones, even and those who are my partners in the business, that we should work and work hard to have a very great dream for our children. Because for the family, I always say that we must be able to think about the future for the family. And the future for the family is sowing a great seed in their lives now, so that in future they will not struggle. In future, they will be of good significance, both spiritually, financially, and health-wise. You must build it in such a way that in future you are sowing greater seeds that they will be very, very important to communities, and they will serve communities. Because our being on this earth as a man or as a human being is to serve. And why are we serving? We are serving by managing the resources that we have within our environment. So as a family, I always tell them that they must get themselves equipped in everything that they need to do financially and everything. And that is my focus for the next 3 years. But the greater news will be on my business partners. My business partners succeeding is my success, because I'll be very happy to see greater team members or tribe members succeeding. Reverend Solomon, forgive me if I'm not using the words properly now, because the team has become so conversant with me. But it will get stuck. The greater opportunity that seeing more partners succeeding in the business, changing the family's life, and be happy. One good thing makes me happy in this industry is that even from my previous company, I always look at it and I look back and I see, you see, Chidi is just nodding because he knows. I look back and I see the families that I have changed with a lot of just introducing this business and supporting them. Some are doing very well, extremely good. And it is a family that I belong to. But you can only be happy and excited when you see such team or partners in the business also exceeding and going greater than you expected. I don't have any limit for anybody in my team. I want them to go far and go beyond. Greater is the world for all of us to move around, succeed, make money, touch society, bless people, create other opportunities for others to succeed. And this is what I expect to see from my partners. Thank you.
Quite frankly, I think I'm having fun. One of the things that Immeri has afforded us, has given us opportunity to imagine. You cannot rise beyond your imagination. I think I made a post a couple of days that you can never rise higher than the ladder you climb on. So it means the ladder you climb will determine how far you go. And I think Immeri is an unlimited ladder with possibilities. So it's just for our imagination to be enhanced. So first for me, I've had a few times to rethink things over. And again, I believe in feedback and ask myself, what can we learn from this? Especially with the pandemic and the lockdown happening around the world. First, you cannot give what you do not have. So it means our goal will start from us, and just what Immeri has already taught us to giving happiness, but starting from us, then to our family. I want to be able to grow more. I want to be able to grow more. I want to have an unending quest and pursuit for growth, and also to expand my dream. And now, why is that possible? Why is that important to me? Now, my dream might be different from somebody else. The other person's dream might not be wrong, but for me, I want to be able to empower others. Okay. Now, yes, we can empower them by giving them platform to thrive, but in times like this, practically every day, I don't know how many of you get that. You wake up, like I woke up this morning, you are getting text messages. Please, if you can support me with this, if you can support me with that. You cannot give what you don't have. So having that, to be in that place where you can help as much as possible is helping me to refine what my end is. It's not the money in Immeri, and let me say that. It's not the money in Immeri. We've had people that have made much more money than us, and they've also gone broke. So it's not the money. It's what you do with the money. Now, for the first time, I begin to think about impact and not income. Now, if you think about the number of people you can impact, obviously your eyes will now begin to work on the numbers that can help you create that impact. Now, if I'm able to help within the next 3 years, if I'm able to help 1,000 persons live comfortably and able to reach out without pressure to other people, I'll feel fulfilled. Okay? Now, it's a goal. When we get there, we will scale the next goal. So I wouldn't say I want to help 1 million people. Okay? 1,000 persons within the next 3 years. Now, within the last 2 months or so, I started telling to my friends, I said, look, I want to be retired. Personally, I want to be retired in 3 years' time. Okay. So I'm driving myself. That's why we are sleeping late, so that we can retire early and now sleep longer. That my personal pursuit is to retire. And now retirement means different things to different people. For some persons, 500,000 naira can get them to be retired. For some persons, 1 million naira, they are still not retired. So retirement is relative. But for me, I know what my numbers looks like for me to be retired. I want to be passively retired within in 3 years' time, and I want to be able to impact more lives. And vis-a-vis, just like Chairman Fred said, I cannot retire if my team members are not part of the process, because it's the success of your team that makes your retirement possible. Otherwise, you will continue to be on the front line also of duty. So I think the focus for me now turns away from me, because I want to retire. The focus turns away from me and turns to the success of the team. And that's going to affect our family. And like Chairman Fred said, in Africa, We are family oriented. Trust me, right now, you are getting text messages and calls from people who you thought they were forgotten lost family members, okay? But it's not wrong for them to reach out. It will be your joy to be able to do that for family members and loved ones, knowing that God had blessed you. When you see, like we were discussing earlier, Dangote stands up today and says, I want to, is doing 23 billion naira. What stops me from doing that? I mean, that's a blessing. I mean, now listen, when he shares that thing, nobody's going to ask whether he's a Muslim or he's a Christian. That's impact for me. Okay. And I think Immeri has created that platform for one of us to be able to stretch, make income, and create impact in our lives, in our family, and the world at large. Thank you, Immeri, for the opportunity.
So thank you very much, Mr. Aris. So for me, I'll take it this way, okay? Before I actually started really getting into network marketing more seriously, there was a coaching class that I took, or let's say a personal development training that I had. And as part of it, I had to read a book. And the book I read gave me an experience that to date, I believe has an impact on me. So it made me imagine, like you're asking me, 3 years from now, what is going to be? And I'm going to tell you, I've said this in a very few places, but I'm going to say it here on this platform. So I had this kind of, it's not a vision, I just imagined it. It was like an epiphany. It was so real to me that I was standing in a room, okay, being invited, like I was going to just address a group of people. And the hall had to be so big, like more like a stadium, but it was filled to capacity, not just on the seats, but also on the field. You can imagine it, right? And me being introduced to these people, and guess what? These are not just team members, but these are all top-ranking team members who are very, very successful from different parts of the world, who have all gathered, and they are just there to celebrate with me. And that vision is what I have. So 3 years from now, that's what I see. And I'm very grateful for the platform, because I think that anybody coming into this business or into Immeri must stop thinking small. Personally, that's one of the reasons why I find it difficult to promote, not to discourage anybody, but I find it difficult to just promote classic because it's cheap. I don't promote classic because it's cheap. In fact, to my best of ability, if you could, even do tier 4. But the goal I'm trying to get people to see is that it's a serious business. This is something that if you're going to do, it will be worth every experience, it will be worth every investment, it will be worth every time spent. And it's because it can really change your life. So if people are going to come in with a serious concept or mindset that this is really something that can transform my family, like Mr. Barreto rightly said, it's a family business for him. It's going to transcend generations. Everybody has mentioned it. Fred has mentioned it. Mr. Solomon has mentioned it. That's the legacy, right? And actually for him, it's also a retirement plan. So if this is how big this opportunity is going to be for us, then anybody coming in, seeing it that way is going to be tremendous. And I'm so grateful for all the brains that came together to put up this plan, because here we have a very unique plan that puts less stress on us. Of course, that's why Mr. Solomon can think of retiring, because he defined his retirement on another platform, and so I'm sure people will be wondering what does it mean. But I'm so happy, and I know what exactly it means. And actually, that's a goal, because to have so many people with me successful and celebrating our success, and they being able to attribute that success to me, is my goal, is my dream. So that's for me on a personal level, right? And of course, when that happens, Jim Ron said something, He said, don't think of what you are getting on a job. Think of what you are becoming. And constantly, that's what I'm thinking about, because I want to become more of my good self as I make the money. Because there's no doubt I'm going to make a lot of money. But what I want to do is that money is going to empower me really to reach out to more people, to support. I mean, there are so many people right now that need support. And personally, I am one person that I don't like it when, like, maybe somebody's in need and then you have to more like query the person before you help the person. I mean, I want to be in a situation where if the person is truly in need, I don't have to care whether the person is trying to lie to me or it's really, you know, because for the person anybody to gather enough courage, it's difficult to gather courage to ask somebody, especially when you know the person is a respectable person. It's difficult for them to gather courage to ask. And so when they ask, if you have the ability, you just give. And that actually is a principle of the Bible. That's what Jesus taught. He said that if anybody asks you, say give. Don't even ask to get it back, you know. But when your economy is not good, when your finances are not good, that becomes very, very difficult to do. And so that for me is my goal, to be able to not just help my family and empower them so that they can be a blessing to their own, you know, small communities, but actually reach out to touch even more lives. You know, we have church brethren that we have to help. We have the community. We have people in society, really, and it also plays in the core values of our company, Immeri, which is always reaching back to the people. And I love it because this is why we believe that this company is going to be there for a lifetime, because the core value and everything that you have put together is just perfect, in sync with God's will and in sync with personally my own desire for the future. So that's my dream for the next 3 years.
Well, since I got into this industry of direct sales, all right, it's funny. I'm only a little over 6 years old in the industry. It's so funny that I'm younger than so many people here in this industry. But you know, it's a very different terrain for me from my background. All right, I'm a chemical engineer by training. You know, working in oil and gas for a time, and then becoming an entrepreneur. So strictly doing real estate and business. My goals, you know, were very different. But when I came into the industry, it all changed, right? So, and the only reason why I have accepted it this much because it agrees, you know, with me on, you know, what I intend to be. So I'm going to look at 3 years as a stop on the journey, but I will start from the final journey. So my goal is to rewrite something. You know, as I started my entrepreneurship, I started to read more than I was reading as a student. The reading culture changed. It wasn't about passing an exam. It was more now to impact me towards that goal that I talked about. So I found out that, you know, success, you know, have been described, you know, holistically not to be something easy, but everybody is always encouraged that you can do it. So sometimes I see a lot of contradictions in it. Oh, success is not easy. It's not going to be easy. But you know, anybody can do it. Anybody can have it. All right. So that for me became something else. I see that yes, people can strive to be that, but the only reason why anyone else can is if they can really see themselves in other people. All right. So my goal is to, you know, create a reflection of, you know, a life of, you know, that has a reflection of a simple, easy success story that can seamlessly be duplicated. Right, where anybody can see it and say, hey, I can have this, and this is what I want. So for me, it's a journey, and that's why I see it here at Immeri, and I see myself achieving that. So in 3 years, what do I want to have achieved towards creating this life that I just described? You know, an easy, simple, seamlessly duplicatable life of success. More people that are ready to take this journey with me.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Akin Barreto, for sharing with us your great thoughts, okay, of your dreams that you want to achieve 3 years from now in the business. And of course, we would like to commend, okay, these four powerful gentlemen, okay, of Immeri for joining us. And for sure, all of you have enjoyed our conversation. Mr. Chidi, can you please unmute your microphone? Mr. Solomon? Okay, we understand. All right. So once again, thank you so much, okay, for joining us. Till next time, okay, on the next episode of Immeri Spotlight. So you are actually on the spotlight right now. So this is
Wow.
a segment, okay, that we introduce on our Facebook live stream. So today is Friday, and today is April 24, 2020, and everyone is watching us, okay, live on Facebook. So we started at 4 o'clock, okay, and please stay tuned for more updates, for more answers that you want to also hear straight from us. So till next time on the next episode of our Immeri Spotlight. Thank you so much and good afternoon.